gentlemen, welcome to Walking with J.Beau. This is going to be J.Beau's post-debate special. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about on this walk, which is going to be somewhere between 5.5 and 6 miles. It'll take about an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours. So walk with me. First of all, the first thing I want to do is I want to criticize MSNBC, actually. First of all, I didn't watch the debate on MSNBC, but I watched some of the post-debate discussion, which I also watched on CNN and Fox, as well as OAN. And I don't watch any of these networks for very long, literally 10, maybe 15 minutes if they're lucky, just to get a basic gist of what they're doing. So anyway, I put it on MSNBC and I get this old black guy on there. I don't know his name, forgive me. But he absolutely hates Donald Trump. And he's sitting there with Jen Psaki and Rachel Maddow. And they're talking about the debate and how somebody finally put Trump in his place. A black woman of color put Trump in his place. And he made a joke about smacking that ass. And then he said something that really annoyed me. He said that Trump came out on stage. Kamala went over to meet him in the middle to shake hands, and then Trump refused to shake hands and just went to the podium. That is an absolute blatant, flat-out lie. That never happened. The other media companies actually used photographs of Trump shaking hands with Kamala when they met between the two podiums. So I have no idea what the hell this guy was smoking, but he has Trump derangement so bad, Trump derangement syndrome, that he can't even see what he's looking at. So anyway, that's all I had to say about MSNBC. I'm sure off camera, maybe even on camera, they were masturbating over the debate. But I'll tell you exactly what really happened with the debate, and you probably know already, is it was 3-on-1. The strategy between the three, which was the two ABC moderators and Kamala Harris, was to get under Donald Trump's skin and keep him on defense all night, because his natural want to defend himself, which is when he gets himself into trouble, is what they wanted to do. They had some success with that, and I'm going to go on a limb. It's a pretty good limb and tell you that who won the debate last night? Well, if you wanted to watch a black woman throw bricks and rocks at Donald Trump all night with nobody to do anything about it because the moderators were enjoying it, then you'd have to say Kamala Harris won the debate. Kamala Harris, however, did not win the debate, and I'm going to go into lengthy detail as to why. I'm not one of those people that watch the debate and then I get a knee-jerk reaction right after and get all emotional, and I wait until the next day when the real stuff starts coming out about it. And that's what we're seeing. All right, I'm just going to start off with the CBS, who don't like Trump. No secret. They had a post-debate poll. Not a poll, but a post-debate focus group, which is even more important. These were 10 undecided voters, independents. They're not sure if they should vote for Trump. They're not sure if they should vote for Kamala. CBS sat down and asked them some very basic questions, like, who are you leaning towards voting since you were undecided before the debate? And I'm not making this up, okay? 6 out of 10 of them are voting for Trump. Now, if you watch the debate and you watch the media, oh, Donald Trump had his ass handed to him, he was beaten, and no, what you saw was what irritated these independent voters about Kamala. Right at the beginning of the debate, Trump was answering a question, mentioning Kamala's record. And what was Kamala doing? She was on a split screen. I don't know if she didn't realize she was on a split screen or not, but she was using that condescending woman face, okay? That's what I'll call it. It's not a derogatory comment towards women. It's one of those things that men do not like when women do it. I can't even explain what that is, but you'll know if you watch the debate. The reason why she was doing that, clearly evident, is she has a natural propensity to cackle like a demon when she's in an uncomfortable situation, and she wants to make a joke about it and cackle. So that was her fighting back her natural urge to cackle. So she chose the condescending face, which was not a good thing to do. And even the pollsters like Frank Luntz, who actually like Jeb Bush and people like that, and they hate Trump, made commentary that that was not good for her to do that. Independent voters don't like that. The independent male voter that she is trying to win over, you have to remember she's a female. She's going to get the women vote, not all of it, and she's going to get a lot of black vote, but the polling has shown that black males do not like her as much, and white males absolutely don't like her a lot. So that is, you have to remember, the whole goal of the Kamala campaign last night was to win over the independent, undecided voters in, specifically, Pennsylvania. Because if she doesn't win Pennsylvania, she's not going to win. So the debate was held in Pennsylvania. So this was a big opportunity for her to win Pennsylvania, and she failed miserably. And I'll go into detail in a second. And again, this is not expert analysis. This is just somebody that's older, been through a lot of elections. I did stupid things in the past, like I voted for Bill Clinton. I voted for George Bush. I was supporting the Iraq War until I realized that was a mistake, and then I had a hard time admitting it to myself. And so you live and you learn, you do stupid things. So that's where my experience comes from, just living through elections. I've voted in every election, and I'm sure you have as well. And if you haven't, then I hope you will in the future, because it's really important. So anyway, their main objective was to win the independent, undecided voters, specifically male voters, blue-collar voters, people that don't like the Democrats, probably didn't like Trump either, But now RFK is not in the battle anymore, and he's endorsed Donald Trump. So now these people are looking for who they're going to vote for. So the first thing she did wrong was she did that condescending face. Trump's up there talking about policy. So what does she do when she gets asked her first policy question? She gives a well-rehearsed answer. It came across as being phony, which it was. It was well-rehearsed. She doesn't really mean what she's saying. You could tell in her voice. And after that, she turned the debate into attacking Donald Trump. She spent most of her time throwing knives at Donald Trump, or rocks, or whatever you want to consider. And it was a 3-on-1 bash where they were stoning President Trump. And that's what happened with that. And what was the result of that? She didn't talk about any more of her policies for the rest of the night. Nothing. She actually ended up playing defense because Trump would talk about something about her. So Trump got in a lot of jabs at her without insulting her or being condescending. Now, I wish Trump had not taken the bait on when she insulted his crowd size. He absolutely hates that. But hey, you know, it's 3-on-1, and he was getting annoyed. I don't blame him. He had a right to be annoyed, but I wished he had not shown that. I wished he would have just looked at her and said, you know, she's just trying to bait me with that, but this is what I'm going to do as president. That's really what I wished he would have done. But that being said, the simple fact is the CBS focus group was about 6 out of 10 said they were going to vote for Trump after. 3 said they were going to vote for Kamala, and 1 was still undecided. So Reuters did a similar post-debate focus group of about a dozen people. Same result. About 60% of them who were undecided before the debate said they were going to vote for Trump. There were other post-debate focus groups as well. One was on CNN. One woman was on there and said, Kamala Harris ran, and this is important, Kamala Harris has run as a moderate. Basically the same thing as what Biden's been doing. And this person said that in the post-debate closing statement, Trump just asked people if they were better off than they were 4 years ago, and also said that she's been there for 3.5 years on this ticket. Why didn't they do anything before now? And she said that was it for her right there, because, you know, basically it's just she's another Biden running on the same policies, and she doesn't have any new policy. And Trump brought that up in the debate too. So go to their website. It's the same policies Biden has, just worded differently, and they're only like 4 short sentences. There's nothing in it. So he won big with the independents, and that's what the whole goal of the debate was last night. And so take that for what you will. That is all factual. I'm not an expert. I don't want to spread misinformation, but my honest belief is that the debate last night on policy and what's important to voters fell in Donald Trump's lap last night, and Kamala failed to convince anybody anything different than what they thought already. Now, if you hate Donald Trump and you've been waiting for somebody on a debate stage to put him in his place, well, you probably enjoyed last night. but that's not the result you're going to get that's going to help you win. I mean, these people already hate Trump, okay? It's not winning over new voters. We already know they hate Trump. People would dance a jig in their yard, probably have a barbecue and have a big celebration with fireworks if Trump died in a plane crash, okay? So this is no secret, and that's what last night was. And ABC is getting a lot of backlash today from their peers, okay? Their peers. Not Trump supporters, not Kamala supporters, but their own peers who are in that business are saying it was the worst biased debate they have ever seen. They were leading off with questions, just to paraphrase, okay, just to give you an idea. They would ask Trump a question. And again, I'm paraphrasing, but you know, you get the gist of it. President Trump, isn't it true that you lost the 2020 election because people think you're a piece of crap? Everybody knows you're a piece of crap. Polls have said you're a piece of crap. So how do you feel about being a piece of crap, President Trump? Then he answers it. Then they go over to Kamala after one of the moderators fact-checked something he said, which they didn't do to Kamala. And they just ask Kamala, so Kamala, how do you feel about President Trump being a piece of crap? That's basically how they ran that debate. And it was shameful. It was disgusting. And the independents, okay, this is really important also, and this contributed to them picking Trump. They know he's getting railroaded and picked on unfairly. He's getting bullied. They're trying to lock him up. They're persecuting him. And that's why Trump is popular in the polls. So, independent voters right now, last couple of polls I looked up last night, it's the lowest opinion they've had of the media in our history, okay? Independent voters only trust the media by 23%. And a similar poll said 28% know that the media is in the tank for the Democrats and they don't like it. Those are solid numbers. Now, in 2016, 68 to 69% of the independent voters respected the media. Now you're in the low 20s. So, them 3-on-1ing Trump last night actually hurt Kamala with independent voters that she needs to win. And that's why I'm enjoying this today. And there are many other people, conservative people online, that spend a lot of time on this stuff, are all agreeing with the same assessment of it. Was it Trump's best performance? He got his policies out. He had his information down. He had to deal with a 3-on-1 attack. He was on defense most of the night. And when he wasn't on defense, he got his policies out enough for independents to hear it. So that's good. So, not his best debate night he's had. And if you remember yesterday's walk, which was the pre-debate walk, what did I say when I first started my walk? Kamala Harris, don't underestimate her in debates. I clearly said that. She's a prosecutor, a lawyer, she was a good one. She just used it for evil. So, she brought that out last night in a debate, and she was very effective with it. Problem was, winning a case in a courtroom isn't what she was supposed to be doing there. She was supposed to be winning independent voters who don't like that. They don't like her. And now they really don't like her. So, you're going to see Trump's numbers go up after this debate, actually. The honest polls. And look at that, we got a giant stack of pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns. How cool is that? So yeah, Halloween's here, folks. I know you're gonna roll your eyes, we're not even 2 weeks into September, but this is Maine and it feels like Halloween season. So we got the fall wreaths in the door out, if you notice that. We got pumpkins on the porch over here. So the pumpkins are out. So I hope you're enjoying this discussion. You're going to see a lot of polling coming out between now and a week from now. And I think a lot of that is going to reflect a change in independent voters who were undecided. And it might give Trump about a 1% boost. Polling market, for example, before the debate, Kamala was a little bit ahead of Trump on Polymarket, which is a betting website, a very popular one where people bet with real money. Okay, that's why it's kind of an accurate thing. They're placing bets with real money, and some of these bets, the pot gets up to huge thousands and thousands of dollars. So people aren't throwing their money away on BS. They're betting their money on who they believe is going to win. So before the debate, Kamala Harris was at 52% and Trump was at 48% chance of winning. And today, Trump was at 52% and Kamala was at 48%. This was the day after the debate that supposedly Kamala Harris won, okay? If you watch the media. So I'll just leave that with you. Make with it what you want. There are several online betting sites that are similar. But the point being, people are betting with their money. Oh, that'd be a fun washing machine to shoot, a dryer. Whoo! Is that a washing machine? Oh, it's a dryer. We got a lawn tractor out here. Oh, looks like they might be getting rid of it. It looks old. Looks old and run down. So isn't that interesting? That you have a betting odds website where people put up their real money betting on elections. Crazy. So anyway, those are facts. So that's pretty reliable, I think. After Biden's debate, Trump's numbers went up to like 68% chance of winning. So next day, Trump eked up about 4 points on there. I got a feeling he's going to eke up on independent polling. So they're not going to get Kamala's not going to get the boost they were hoping for. I just don't believe she used a good tactic. She just shouldn't have done that. She's on the stage like she's not an incumbent, you know, and that's really the problem for her. You know, she took the time to mention a couple of times that Biden's not the one running for office, I am. But people don't really believe that. She's the vice president now. She's in the White House now, okay? She's there now. So you can't really just stand on stage and say, hey, I got nothing to do with what's going on. I'm really sorry. I'm going to fix everything, even though I've already been there for 3.5 years and things are worse than when Trump was president. That's literally what she did last night. And independent voters, many of them are not stupid people, okay? Now, I don't know where the left-leaning independents are going to go, but last night it was independents that were undecided, didn't know who to vote for. And overwhelmingly, they chose Trump after the debate. They didn't say, well, I need to hear more, I need to see more. They said, I'm now voting for Trump. I made up my mind. I saw what I needed to from Kamala. Because they've been hiding her all this time. They saw one debate on CNN and her poll numbers went down. Now they see her in a debate, just throwing rocks at her opponent and not having any policies to discuss. And those voters aren't going to support that. They're just not. So, good things are coming. We'll just hang on with that. So anyway, I think right now I am going to switch over to my selfie cam because you guys like that. So we will do that right now. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen of internet world. We are now on selfie stick. I broke my selfie stick yesterday. I got another one. This one's actually made for this camera. So kind of warm today. And so anyway, like I was saying with the debate, don't listen to the media on that. Use your own assessment like I was doing. It really is that simple. Kamala missed a great opportunity to put Trump away last night. She didn't have any policy. Now, if she would have had policy that made sense, and she attacked Trump, both at the same time, that would have been a devastating loss for Trump last night. Because he thought he was prepared on policy, which he was, but he underestimated Kamala. And that's exactly what I said on my walk yesterday when I started it. Do not underestimate Kamala. There's a lot of videos online where she looks like an idiot, cackles like an idiot, says dumb things. But what was it I had said? I had said she's not Joe Biden mentally. She'll be able to memorize things. That's what she did. They were all prepared statements. And the other thing she did, from what I read, is that they had a break halfway through it for 4 minutes. And obviously, Trump probably went to the restroom and maybe talked to a couple people. Maybe not, I don't know. But the reporters in the room, who, by the way, applauded Kamala after the debate. You know, the non-biased media was cheering for her after the debate was over. And Trump just walked off. So, but anyway, what they did was they reported that Kamala was taking notes during that whole 4 minutes. She was there with a notepad. She was writing things down, put her pen in her mouth, write a couple more things, making notes. And she's very astute with stuff like that. So, you know, don't underestimate Kamala Harris. So, I also mentioned yesterday that she's never lost an election she's been in. And she didn't make it off the debate stage in I'm going to go back over on this side so I can keep a track of cars coming towards me. I like to see them coming this way. But she didn't last long on the debate stage in 2020. But that's just the way that went because of who was on the stage. I still say Biden would have been a better candidate for the Democrats had they kept him in there. And Trump's going to win either way. It really is in his favor. The Electoral College, and he's even got a shot at the popular vote. And like I was saying yesterday, she's down in Virginia. So Virginia is in play right now for Trump. That would be the first Republican since way back. And so she is underperforming. People really do not like her a whole lot. They're just voting for her because it's not Trump. And Trump needs to get those voters on his side. Now, the problem with somebody finally putting Trump in his place, which I'm not even entirely sure they really did, but they turned it into a big win. They feel good about it. The Kamala campaign does not, because immediately, just a few minutes after the debate, I think they realized that they didn't get the policy out, and they were there to get independent voters, and they didn't do that. That they immediately told the Washington Post that they wanted to have a second debate. Now, why would somebody want to have a second debate immediately after the one you just had if you won so big? Even if it was something ridiculous like, oh, they just want another debate to further beat Trump into the ground. That's not how that works. When you have a big win like that, you let the media stew on it for, I don't know, a month. Then you have another debate in October, a 3 weeks before the debate, before the election. That's what Hillary did, and Trump did. Biden and Trump also. Actually, we didn't get that. Biden didn't want to debate. They wanted to hide him away. So they want to continue on with that same thing. They've been hiding Kamala away, and it has not worked for them. A lot of these independents after the debate said, one woman in particular, she said that, how did she put that? She said, oh, these debates are fine and everything, but I don't have time to sit there and fact check everything that's being said. She said, I would rather see an interview, and then I can take my time and research everything. So that's the mind of an independent, okay? And that's why they're great. And that's why you can't win without independents. You can't BS them either. They know Kamala was fake and phony last night, and they can smell that. And they knew that the network was biased against Trump, the same Trump that somebody almost tried to kill, which also polled very high among independents. They understand the gravity of that because they don't hate Trump. They don't hate Kamala either. They're in between. So they're thinking of the country. So Trump was almost killed. They're trying to lock him up for life. They're persecuting him, prosecuting him, death threats, all kinds of stuff. And, then he has a debate on ABC, and they tank it in favor of Kamala. And it's like, I think that really annoyed a lot of independents. Made the Democrats happy. I'm sure they're having a great day today. But they're not going to in a few days when the polling comes out. And if I'm wrong on that, I'll be really surprised. I'll admit it. But I think this is going to backfire on them big time. Bigger than they thought it would. So, this is going to be fun. I really hope I'm right on that. I really think I'm right on that. And, you can throw rotten tomatoes at me if I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong. But that's just my gut feeling about it. Trying to be impartial. We've seen how they behave. And really it all comes down to the existing polling among independents. They don't like that fighting back and forth and throwing rocks. They don't like the networks being biased. And all of the polling shows that. So, very interesting. So we will stay tuned for that. We're passing that area coming up where we saw all those turkeys up ahead. That came out of the woods the other day. That was pretty cool, actually. I like wild turkeys. Some of them are freaking huge. I mean, big. Big league gobblers. Maybe they're called prize gobblers among turkey owners. And if I went turkey hunting, I would probably use a 20 gauge. Probably a semi-auto, for sure, with a longer barrel, with a really good choke on it. And this is where they were. They were all congregating in this yard over here. So, nothing today. So anyway, I just wanted to come on here and say hello, howdy, and I got a pretty good sweat going right now. Last night it was 41 degrees. It's a little cool, and this morning the house was about 64 degrees inside. Now today it's warm. We're gonna have about 3 or 4 days in the 80s coming up. So it's not quite winter yet, but it's working on it. And anyway, I'll switch over to this side. My arm's getting tired. So, excuse me. I'm pretty excited about what happened last night. You know, I know some people might be panicking. Don't panic about it. Trump really did a good job. He really tried to, and they basically ganged up on him. That's what they did. I mean, there's no denying it. So it's right there for everybody to see. So there you have that. And we'll get through this. The other polling I saw today, initial polling, is that the needle really hasn't moved yet, which is exactly what I suspected. They expected Kamala to do what she did last night. They expected Trump to get defensive. Nothing really moved. The poll I saw that was interesting was before the debate. It was 47% Kamala versus Trump. After the debate, it was 48% to 48%. So it was still tied. It didn't move. And that was by a conservative pollster, Trafalgar, that I told you guys about. And so both candidates gained a point for different reasons. Initially, right after the debate, that is. So we'll get the real polls in a few days. And I suspect that there's going to be movement among independents, because don't forget, we had RFK drop out of the race, and nobody's really done any serious independent polling to see how much that has affected anything yet. There's only been a handful of polls done by, New York Times, Siena, and the New York Times poll actually bumped Trump up ahead. A lot of Democrats were panicking about it, so they needed a good debate win last night to feel good about themselves. But they shouldn't feel good about it because she didn't solve her polling problems, especially among independents. I think she made it worse. She's just not likable. That's really the bottom line. She's just not a likable person. That freaking condescending face that she had, with her thumb on her chin going, big smirk and grin. I mean, it's such an irritating thing, She should have just stood there like a normal person, like Trump did. Maybe make a couple of facial expressions. But I really think she was just trying not to cackle, because I don't think she can help herself with that. It's like a nervous reaction. So anyway, that's my assessment on that. Cannot wait to see the next batch of real polls, the real polls. This is the time of year we're going to start getting real polls who are still going to favor Kamala over Trump. Oh, look at this. It's right there. See? There's my turkeys, 4 of them anyway. So we got the big turkey and the 3 smaller ones. I don't know if they're going to hook up with the rest of the group. That must be their babies. And there they go, flapping their wings, even though they can't fly. They're out into the weeds now. So we got to see some turkeys. Now, the other thing I want to talk about real quick is all you're going to see on the media is they're going to spin this as Trump is finished. He's all done. You're going to have a bunch of fake polling companies coming out with fake polls saying the polls have shifted 6 points in favor of Kamala. That's what they're going to do, okay? We already know that. They did that after Biden stepped down too. And but they're going to know they're not winning. That's the thing. And we could tell that with Kamala because they still had her in front. But she was up on a stage at one of her rallies imploring the crowd not to get too overconfident and to stay focused because this isn't over. Now, that told me that they knew they were behind, and they're playing defense on that because they know they've been BSing their voters. Whenever a candidate says that, if they're way ahead in the polls and they're talking like that, there's something wrong. Now, if they're behind in the polls and they say that, that's a different thing. But the point was, there's really no reason for her to say that. There was no reason last night for the campaign to call for a second debate, literally 15 minutes after the end of the previous one, to the Washington Post. I'm sure they had their own focus group they were talking to, and they saw the same thing. 6 out of 10 independents were now being lost to Trump after that debate. She didn't get her policies across. That's a big deal. And I think that was a big mistake, a huge mistake. And yet to be seen, like I said. But anyway, the other thing I want to talk about is something pretty damn important also. Today is September 11th. And we know what happened on September 11th. I was in a different part of town, in an apartment, instead of a house. And it was a beautiful day, just like this. Carbon copy. Absolutely perfect. Barely a breeze, bright sunshine. Felt like a summer day. And then that happened. It was probably one of the prettiest days I had seen in a while in September, and we get that same day today. So we had the September 11th ceremonies today. I've not caught up on Trump yet. He was supposed to visit some firefighters in New York City, which he did. I think J.D. Vance did also. And Joe Biden also did something in New York City. And he's already started a controversy. I guess he was giving a speech. I haven't watched it yet, so I can just only tell you what I read. But the quote was, he said, "Do 9/11." So he was like ending his comments or something like that with, like, okay, let's do 9/11. Let's have a party. That's how it came across, and I guess a few families were pretty offended by that, and they issued statements today. They don't like Biden, and they didn't like him saying that. Do 9/11, okay? Like, do 9/11, let's go. Let's have a great day. It's like being at a funeral and say, how about them patriots? Yeah, let's put them in the ground. You don't do that, you know? So 9/11 today, I was in the living room. Ooh, that was weird. That guy was way over. He saw me though. If you had been drinking, I would have had to jump in the weeds, which I would have, because I'm paying attention. It's the other thing you got to do when you're walking. Oh yeah, so I'm watching this on TV like everybody else. Oh wow, a plane crashed into the World Trade Center. Oh my God, that's horrible. I remember it was first reported that it was a helicopter or something like that. And then it was like, oh geez. Then they got footage of a firefighter. Well, it wasn't a firefighter, it was a city worker. They had the manhole open. And they were just doing some work and somebody was shooting video. And you could see the World Trade behind him. And you could see the plane fly right into it. And I was like, wow, that was a big plane. That wasn't a helicopter or a small personal plane. That's bad. So you're watching it. And then I'm watching it and I happen to be looking right at it. And another plane hit the other one. And like everybody else, we knew what that was. This is planned. We just got attacked. And then the whole world changed after that. I don't have to go over all the rest of it. I remember calling my brother, who was working in Connecticut at the time, because we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if planes were coming down all over the place. If it was some other attack, missiles, had no idea what was going on. So we talked for a few minutes on the phone, and he said he was whatever miles away from that. Connecticut's attached to New York, so a lot of times he goes through New York City. So it was one of those kind of things. And so he was fine. All right, so then I get on the phone with my sister-in-law, and both of us were just angry, absolutely livid that this could happen. And it's all the same questions. How the hell did this happen? How could this possibly happen? Who's responsible? Who did it? And so anyway, you guys have all your own stories. If you want to leave any commentary for a comment, I'd very much love to read those. And I know a lot of those can turn into a bunch of paragraphs. That's fine with me. I don't mind reading everybody's comments. I really don't. You know, it's kind of a big deal. It's the biggest event we've ever experienced, really. And you know, which is the other thing is, you know, Kamala Harris did that debate last night. January 6th was the worst thing that's happened since the Civil War. Well, not really. She's trying to say that it was a domestic attack. The Civil War, January 6th. Well, January 6th was a riot, for one thing. It was not domestic terrorism. It wasn't an insurrection. So I don't have that thought process of thinking it is. And if you poll people, they don't believe it was an insurrection either. More than 50% don't. So I don't know why they keep bringing it up. Because Trump's winning. All of this stuff they keep, you know, that's the other thing she did on that debate. I'll get back to the debate here for a minute. Is they went with they went with the same campaign lies the Kamala campaign has been regurgitating ad nauseum. Okay, just the fine people on both sides hoax, all the other stuff. The fine people on both sides, the media chopped off the last sentence where he was expressly talking about people on the statue debate. He's trying to say that I understand why some people want to take the statues down, and I understand why the other side wants to keep them up. There are fine people on both sides of that argument, is what he was saying. They turned it into him saying there's fine people on both sides, including the Nazis and the tiki torch carriers and racists, and that's not even what he said, literally. So all of these things have been debunked a long time ago, and her campaign keeps regurgitating them, and she regurgitated at least 5 of those last night. 5! No fact check from ABC, okay? None, 0. Every time Trump opened his mouth, they were fact checking him. With fact checks that weren't even accurate, I should add. You know, like the nobody in Ohio is eating cats. Well, if you go on the internet, there's video of people that live there talking with the news media saying these people are eating our pets. So there's another video of a body cam where the police are responding to a call. Now, granted, it wasn't Springfield. Okay, I need to throw out that disclaimer. The rumor on the internet was that it was Springfield, Ohio. It wasn't. Okay, this was in Canton, Ohio, the film clip I saw. But, okay, Springfield, Canton, wherever else in Ohio? Are we not in Ohio? And was it not a migrant? Yes, it was. So there's that on top of that, okay? So they got body cam footage of a migrant female who was eating a dead cat. Okay, she killed a cat and she was eating it, okay? Because she was Haitian and they eat cats. Don't know what to tell you, but that's what happened, and that's what Trump was talking about last night. People were on TV eating cats, and he wasn't lying. There's another video I saw where somebody had a cat, skin stripped off of it, and these Haitians were cooking it over a gas stove. They had it on a stick, and they were cooking it on the open flame on a gas stove while they're talking. So this stuff is all on video. They can deny it all they want to. The fact check by ABC was, city administrative officials have denied that report. Yeah, because they're embarrassed about it. They took in 10,000 migrants in a town that has 50,000 people. They are buried, inundated, and it's a friggin' mess. The citizens are all angry, they're all pissed off, and the city administrator is trying to keep a good face on the city, because that's his job. So he's not going to come out and say, yeah, we've had isolated incidents where citizens claim this or claim. So they just flat out denied nothing's going on, and it's purely like a chamber of commerce, bad press. We don't want that press for our town, so we're going to deny anything. And that's clearly what they did, okay? They're all Democrats. That's what they do. So that's what happened with that, my honest opinion. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm not claiming that's the truth. I'm just telling you what I believe, okay? And there's evidence to support that. That's all I'm going to say. So anyway, that being said, they did not fact check Kamala at all last night. Zero. They didn't fact check her once. Terrible. She said so many friggin' lies. Trump, he's going to sign the abortion ban. Trump never said that. He said the opposite. You know, they didn't fact check that. They didn't do anything. So, but I don't think independent voters were fooled, so that's good. So anyway, up ahead here, I'm going to switch back to non-selfie camera. I hope you're not disappointed. I'm going to watch the cars here. Speed limit here is about 45, and people do about 60 to 70. So I have to keep my viewpoint sharp on what's coming. Now, that person was doing the speed limit. So I hope you enjoy walking with J.Beau and listening to me ramble. And yeah, I get going sometimes. It's one of those things, and just you know, I can't help it. I'm passionate about this stuff. I love my country. You know, what can I tell you? You know, today's 9/11. It's a pretty somber day. It's a terrible thing that happened. You know, look at all the trouble it's caused. You know, George Bush, his whole administration and staff, with General Powell fabricating the yellow cake and weapons of mass destruction, and they manufactured an excuse to go to war with Iraq. And that was a real eye-opener for me. It really made me angry later on, after I realized I had been duped. And it's been a difficult time to trust the Republicans ever since. And now we know, because of Trump, that those are the rhinos. You know, the Lindsey Grahams, the Mitt Romneys, the, you know, all these other people, swamp creatures. Then you get the military-industrial complex, and you get all this other stuff, and it's not good. It's not good at all. So, anyway, hope you're enjoying the walk. I think what I'll do is I'm not going to go put the head thing back on. I think I'm just going to turn this around on the selfie stick and walk with it, facing the other way, so you don't have to look at my mug. And I think it was a good idea from viewers to tell me that they will enjoy selfie streams on here, the selfie viewpoint. And I'm certainly not going to do this for 2 hours, because this hand's already getting numb from holding this. So I don't want to do that much longer. And here's another spot out here that we had seen a couple deer in one afternoon. And so anyway, that was an interesting night last night. I'm going to flip this around now. I'll draw you in closer like this. I'm looking at you right now. I'll flip this around. And this does have a it has a stabilizer kind of thing in it. It's probably still going to hop up and down, but it has a stabilizer and it has a horizontal correct, so it should be more than watchable. I'm going to hold you in front of my chest. Well, it's kind of like a chest cam. We're going that way. So the other thing that came out just before the debate was a video clip of Kamala Harris in 2019, okay? 2019, just as she's getting into the presidential primary. She had not been picked by Biden yet, obviously. And part of her policy that she was talking about was making sex changes available to illegals nationally in the United States. So that came out before the debate. That needs to be made a topic. And of course, she's going to deny that that is her current policy. She's going to no longer believe that, which is BS. And you just know damn well, she gets in the White House, all of this stuff that she has denounced, she's going to go ahead and do it. Biden did it. And that's what these independent voters post-debate were talking about. They've already heard this same movie from Biden, basically, is what they were saying. Running as a moderate, saying what you need to get elected, and then not doing it. And Kamala is doing the same thing. And she is. So these independents are correct. And this wasn't just one independent. This was pretty unanimous among the group. So I really think they're in for a rude awakening coming soon. And I really believe that. It's not even half a day later, and things are already shifting in the narrative to what I'm talking about. So there wasn't one post-debate poll or group that I saw that was absolutely thrilled with Kamala and the voters that she needed to get. I guess is the point I'm making. And Trump didn't do anything to lose the voters he had. That's the other important thing. Before the debate started, here's the interesting stat. This is another one. Before the debate started, according to CNN's polling, if you're going to take that for anything, 9% of the public polled said they need to know more about Donald Trump before choosing him. They didn't specify what. Do they need to know more about him as a person? I don't think they need to know that. I think they were referencing what his policies are. Trump got his policies out during the debate last night. It wasn't easy for him to do it. They were pigpiling on him. But what else is new, right? I don't know how this guy does it. I really don't. So our hole in the road is now getting bigger in there. You can see in there about 18 to 20 inches. It's probably 2 feet by 3 feet now. And one of these days that's going to open up and somebody's going to lose a wheel. And I shot a video of that hole and I sent it to the Public Works Department. I've been ignored. I haven't gotten a message back. So, not my problem. But anyway, back to what I was talking about is before the debate, 9% needed to know more about Trump. 30% needed to know more about Kamala. So I'm pretty certain she did not satisfy that 30%, because all she did was throw rocks at Trump all night. So guarantee you Kamala is going to want to do another debate once they start seeing the polling damage that happened. That was the whole reason for Biden doing a debate against Trump back in June, earliest one ever scheduled. So we'll be on board for that. We'll watch. So it's going to be interesting. Anyway, an American flag right here again on September 11th. Support our troops and all that stuff. We love our country and we love America. So what else to talk about? Voting. Holy crap, it's time to vote already. Can you believe that? I checked on the rules for absentee voting in Maine. Absentee voting in Maine starts 3 friggin' months before the election. 3 months! Had no idea. It used to be 2 months. So the Democrats are expanding early voting. And to me, I think it depends on what state you're in. Traditionally, okay, the definitions are early voting is Maine does have early voting that is a couple of weeks before the election, and what that means is you can go vote in person at City Hall, put your ballot in a box in person in a booth, go in a booth like you do when you vote, pull the lever as it were, even though we have paper ballots where you put circles in the holes, the empty spaces I mean. Maine does have paper ballots, which is good. Our elections are accurate, so unless I see anything otherwise to indicate it wasn't. And as I've mentioned on my walks many times, I know they're fair because Trump has won an electoral college vote from this district twice before. He'll win it again. And also Susan Collins was running for re-election a few years ago. She won easily, was not contested. So if they're cheating, they're not doing it very well. They suck at it. And we know Democrats don't suck at cheating. So anyway, I requested my absentee ballot. Absentee ballot is, you have to go on the internet here or call your city clerk. Or actually, I don't even think you can call them. I think you have to go in person to get your ballot, absentee, at City Hall. Or go on the website, on the maine.gov website, find the absentee voting, and request a ballot, which requires your birth date, your home address, your full name, and it has to be verified by your city clerk before they'll send it to you. So city clerk has the information on all citizens and residents, registered addresses. So let's say an illegal wanted to vote, they would have to have an established mailing address. They would have to provide a bill that you get in the mail that you have to pay to prove you have an address. And an ID is not required to vote, but you can't just make up an address and a name, because somebody else will actually live there. Election fraud is a crime, and it's not something I hear about here very much at all, if at all. Nobody here complains about the voting. So even when we lose, we know it was honest. That's all people want, really, right? So anyway, I requested my ballot, and I went and looked at a sample ballot online. And again, in Maine, we have 5 people running for president. Yeah, you heard that right. Again, 5 people. One of them is Cornel West. He has a party on there called the Justice for All Party. First thing I thought of when I saw that was, that's the Metallica ticket, right? The Metallica party. And Justice for All. But no, it's that black guy, really smart guy, with the crazy hair, really intelligent. He used to hate Trump. He doesn't really disparage Trump much anymore. And he seems to have had a fallout with the Democrats, who tried to kick him off the ballot too, because he's a left-leaning independent. So he's also on the ballot in Pennsylvania. So that's the kind of thing the Democrats don't like. Other left-leaning people siphoning off votes from the Democrat. So that's why they have fought to keep RFK on the ballot. Because a lot of the RFK supporters are Trump supporters, and they don't want them to vote for Trump. They want them to vote for RFK. Because there are people that don't like Biden or Kamala, and they don't really want to vote for Trump, but they will if they have to. Okay, it's one of those kind of things. Let's be honest about it. So with that, we have kind of an interesting mix here for Maine, because we have Jill Stein from the Green Party, and we have that guy that I completely keep forgetting his name, who's a libertarian. Remember that guy that was running as a libertarian, that gay guy, openly gay, and he was in support of transitioning kids and stuff like that. And to me, I was like, well, he doesn't sound very libertarian to me. Why do they always pick these friggin' weirdos? You know, when's the Libertarian Party gonna get serious and actually have real personalities and candidates? And it kind of makes you wonder why they don't do that, and I'll tell you why they don't do that. Because the day that libertarians actually start winning elections, they're going to lose their money, fundraising, they're going to lose everything, because the people they have are people that are always angry with the other parties. That's where they get their revenue from. And if they start behaving like the other parties, then those people are just going to vote for those other parties. That's just a theory I have. I don't know if that's right or not. That's just how I feel about it. Again, it's my opinion. It's my walking vlog. So, so it's one of those things, you know, I don't know what else to say about it. But anyway, we got 5 people on the ballot. So we got Cornel West, Jill Stein, we got the libertarian that I can't remember his name. Richardson or Richards. I think it's Richardson or Richards or something like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's not going to do anything. And Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. So there's 5 people on the ballot in Maine. RFK was suing to get on the ballot because the Secretary of State here, who was the one that tried to kick Trump off the ballot here, is playing games and legal shenanigans with RFK. And then RFK, because of that, left the Democratic Party and became independent, and the games ensued, and they wanted RFK off the ballot in Maine because they feel it would hurt the Democrats. You go to another state, they want him on the ballot because it hurts Trump. So these people have no freaking clue what they're doing. They're just doing things just because you're not a Democrat, you're not going to be on the ballot. Because, you know, the Democratic Party is all about democracy. Nothing says democracy like being non-democratic and kicking people off the ballot and rigging elections, right? So these people are full of themselves and other things. And it's starting to catch up to them with voters. I'll never forget seeing Black Lives Matter angry with the Democrats that they appointed Kamala Harris. Not one Democrat vote went in her favor. Nobody voted for her. They didn't even have any votes. They just took Biden's 14 million votes and gave them to Kamala, free nilly-willy. They picked who they wanted and they installed her, okay? Now they're gonna have to live with that installation. And it really was not a smart move because she doesn't have her own platform. She's never going to be able to because she's in the White House now. And her policies are pretty similar to Biden's. And Biden lied to the public as a moderate, and he's been nothing but. And the independents absolutely despise Biden, and they don't like Kamala. They're not impressed with her. So it's going to be interesting. The next week, the real polls will start coming out, and we'll see what kind of damage was done one way or the other. And I can tell you right now, both campaigns are pretty much going to spend all of their money in Pennsylvania. And the reason being is Trump can win without Pennsylvania, but Kamala can't. She has to win Pennsylvania. And they have a ton of money, and they are going to spend a lot of time in Pennsylvania. And if Trump wants to knock her out of the election, he needs to win Pennsylvania. It's really what it comes down to. And the way it's going to lay out is these are the battleground states. It's Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. I don't know if you got all that, but the point is Trump is leading in Nevada right now. He's leading in Arizona. He's leading a little bit in Georgia. By the time the election comes around, he'll be leading solid in Georgia. He's leading in North Carolina. No Democrats won North Carolina since 2008 with Obama. And he's leading in Wisconsin. And he's leading in Pennsylvania. Kamala should win Minnesota pretty easily. There's no surprise there. Tim Walz's state, and plus Biden won that one by a pretty good margin. She's underperforming from Biden, but she should still win that, 5 or 6 points. Michigan is about tied. Trump, it's in play. Trump has a chance for Michigan. So basically, if Trump wins Nevada, Georgia, and Arizona, he just needs one of those other states. It can be Wisconsin, it can be Michigan, it can be Pennsylvania, it could be any one of those. As long as he wins one of those, he can afford to lose Pennsylvania, is my point. If he wins Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada, Georgia, and North Carolina, it doesn't matter if he wins in Wisconsin or Michigan, he'll win the election. So either way, it's pretty dire things for Kamala, and they realize that. And I think that's why they said after that debate they need to have another one, because I think the smart people on her team realized that she didn't get her policies out. And they had their own post-debate focus groups, probably, in private. And they didn't like what they heard. So, you know, that's just the way that is. That's what we got, folks. And we'll see how everything falls later. And I hope that was a good non-professional analysis. Again, you can use RCP. Go to RCP, Real Clear Politics website. They mash all of the polls together into one average, which unfortunately, because of some companies like Bloomberg, who really inflate the Democrat numbers, it affects the outcome number. But if you check on it on a regular basis, you will see the changes, and you can see which pollsters are listed underneath. That's the other thing. So you can kind of like mentally say, okay, well, Bloomberg's messing this poll up, so make your own adjustments, you know. And they have good polling information for each state, all the latest polls, and it's kind of good. Now 538 with Nate Silver is kind of iffy. It's owned by ABC and Disney. They're not always favorable to Republicans, but again, you can get some good information there, especially from past election results, which they can no longer skewer because those are the actual results. And then go to 270, which is 270 to win. And they actually have the current electoral map with states left open that haven't been decided or too close to call. So pretty much all of the correct solid wins are marked in. And I say usually, because it's usually based on the same polling that's crooked. So, but for the most part, if somebody's leading, they're leading enough to change the state, the color. But you can go there and play around with them and fill in your own and see what the Electoral College numbers will be if this state wins in that favor or if they don't, and vice versa. It's kind of fun and interesting to do. So I recommend that if you don't already, which you probably do. But anyway, we'll be coming up towards the end of the walk shortly. And I want to thank you very much for walking with me. We still got a little ways to go before I sign off. But as you can see, the beautiful view out there. And like I was saying the other day, this big giant oak tree here. That's a big oak tree. But, you know, this is the second largest city in the state. And, you know, look how rural it looks from here. And, you know, we're only about 1.5 miles, 2 miles from downtown, or 3 miles from downtown, that way. But anyway, I just wanted to show you the view, and it's much better in person. Everything looks better in person than it does on here, even though this does look pretty good. This does use a widescreen with a linear view, so it looks like I'm a little bit further away from things than I really am. But that's okay. And anyway, I'm at 4.5 miles right now. I've got another 1.5 miles to go, but what I'm going to do is end this at just about 5 miles. And the battery is probably going to peter out shortly. It uses a lot of battery. The more the camera moves, it uses more to stabilize. And the brighter the sun is in daylight, it uses more battery. When I walk at night, I could go 6-7 miles on just one battery at nighttime. But during the day, the battery is going to peter out right about now, actually. This says we got about 7% of the battery left, less than 5. So there's literally about 5 minutes left on this. It's going to turn off, and I'll put a new battery in, so no worries. But anyway, some people sitting out here enjoying the day. You can see there's some trees starting to turn colors over here. I'm gonna scoot across here and see how that tree right there looks like it's a bright orange and red. So we're gonna have a lot of that coming up pretty soon. Most of these trees are all gonna be different colors. It's gonna be beautiful. And I will walk and show it all to you. A lot of it will be on this same route. It's gonna look gorgeous. So, anyways, I guess this is as good a place as any to sign off. I want to say thank you very much. Flip this around. Thank you very much for walking with me. Really had a good time. And we will see you on the next walk. Peace out. Goodbye. God bless. Make sure you vote. I'll get my absentee ballot and then I'll fill it out and mail it at my leisure. But anyway, I just wanted to say hi and thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. And I hope it was entertaining. And if it wasn't, I'll give you a refund. Anyway, till our next walk, friends, have a beautiful day and beautiful week. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.